That night, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream because of my good quality in chastising my brother. The fault of his brother was that he had faith in Lord Chaitanya, but he didn't have very firm faith in Lord Nityananda. That was why Krishnadas Kaviraj chastised his brother. In the village of Jamatapur, which is near Naivati, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream. I fell at his feet, offering my obeisances, and then he placed his own lotus feet upon my head. Arise, get up, he told me again and again. Upon arising, I was greatly astonished to see his beauty. He had a glossy, blackish complexion, and his tall, strong, heroic stature made him seem like Cupid himself. He had beautifully formed hands, arms, and legs, and eyes like lotus flowers. He wore a silk cloth with a silk turban on his head. He wore golden earrings on his ears and golden armlets and bangles. He wore tinkling anklets on his feet and a garland of flowers around his neck. His body was anointed with sandalwood pulp, and he was nicely decorated with tilak. His movements surpassed those of a maddened elephant. His face was more beautiful than millions upon millions of moons, and his teeth were like pomegranate seeds because of his chewing betel. His body moved to and fro, right and left, for he was absorbed in ecstasy. He chanted Krishna, Krishna with deep voice. His red stick moving in his hand, he seemed like a maddened lion. All around the four sides of his feet were bumblebees. His devotees, dressed like cowherd boys, surrounded his feet like so many bees, and also chanted Krishna, Krishna, absorbed in ecstatic love. Some of them played horns and flutes, and others danced and sang. Some of them offered betel nuts, and others waved chamra fans about him. Thus I saw such opulence in Lord Nityananda Swarup. His wonderful form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental. I was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy, not knowing anything else. Then Lord Nityananda smiled and spoke to me as follows. Oh, my dear Krishnadas, do not be afraid. Go to Vrindavan, for there you will attain all things. After saying this, he directed me toward Vrindavan by waving his hand. Then he disappeared with his associates. I fainted and fell to the ground. My dream broke, and when I regained consciousness, I saw that morning had come. I thought about what I had seen and heard, and concluded that the Lord had ordered me to proceed to Vrindavan at once. That very second I started for Vrindavan, and by his mercy I reached there in great happiness. And this is something, this is a pretty good example of surrendering to Krishna. As soon as, and Prabhupada talks about this purport in one of the last verses in the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, so that as soon as one understands the urgency of surrendering to Krishna, these aren't the exact quote, but this is the idea. As soon as a person understands the urgency of taking Krishna consciousness seriously, then he should take it seriously. He should do it right away. There's no time to waste. I know my own from my own experience. As soon as I read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, when I was a freshman in college, I could understand immediately that this is the absolute truth, and this is what I have to do in my life. I didn't take it seriously. I took it extremely seriously, but I wasn't ready to give up my sense gratification yet. So I was pretty stubborn and resistant, not willing to surrender. It took a few years, but I knew from as soon as I met the devotees, and especially after I read the Bhagavad Gita, that as it is, that this is the most serious thing that could be. This is the truth, the absolute truth. You're not going to find any other truth. Everyone is searching for meaning in their life. There are many people who used to come to the temple, and uh, everybody was like some kind of aspiring spiritualist, transcendentalist, reading some kind of uh, books by some yogi or self-realized soul. And when people would come to the temple and say, young people, almost always, and they'd say something like, they'd say, not something like, they'd say like exactly, they'd say, I'm a searcher for the truth. I'll always be a searcher for the truth, but I'll never find it. It's like a weird thing to say, but that's in one sense it's not weird because you haven't found the truth in millions of births. You haven't found the absolute truth, and in this life, until you come to Krishna consciousness, you haven't found the absolute truth either. So maybe you think that, okay, well, I'll never, maybe there is an absolute truth, but I'll never find it. So you could say it's almost logical that somebody would say that. But the real thing behind it is that I want to be, if somebody says something like that, I want to be known as a spiritual person, a spiritual seeker. But I'm so advanced that I know that I know more than anybody, that it's so far above us that it can't be found. And it's just another way of being a puffed up rascal. Because if I don't ever find the absolute truth, then I never have to surrender. But I'll always be a searcher. I'm so sincere that I'll always look for the truth, but I'll never find it. Anyway, people used to say that, and I'm sure many people still say things like that. But it's just another way of avoiding surrender to Krishna. But Prabhupada says in the purport of Bhagavad Gita that as soon as you understand the urgency, if you're an honest man, an honest woman, when they understand that there is an absolute truth, and that the absolute truth is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you surrender. Or at least, if you can't do everything right away, like I couldn't or wouldn't, then at least that you know that you have found the absolute truth, and that it is necessary to surrender. The best thing is if you surrender immediately, like as soon as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami had his dream, and then he fainted, and when he woke up, he realized that he understood. Lord Nityananda told me I have to go to Vrindavan. So he said, I left that very second. It's pretty wild. So I didn't think about what I have to pack for lunch, or I didn't pack a suitcase, or he didn't, try to make arrangements for bed and breakfast along the way to sleep in. He just up and started walking to Vrindavan. That's a really good example, and that's how we have to That's how we take it. Everybody here is doing that. Everybody here has come to that conclusion. Otherwise, why are we here in class then? Why are we listening? Why are we chanting japa? Why are we're here? Because we've taken that same determination that Krishnadas Kaviraj, because he was already a great devotee. It's not like he was taking up Krishna consciousness in the beginning, but he was already a great, great soul. But as soon as he got a specific order from Lord Nityananda, he immediately, that very second, left for Vrindavan. So, yeah, it's try to be like that as much as possible, especially if you get a specific order, a specific direct. All spiritual masters' orders are specific and direct, even if he's not talking to you personally, face to face, but he is talking to each of his disciples face to face, personally. And his orders are all absolute and for the specific and general benefit of everyone and for our specific benefit individually, so that it behooves each one of us to take his orders very seriously. That very second I started for Vrindavan, and by his mercy I reached there in great happiness. He leaves out quite a bit there. I started for Vrindavan, and then I reached there all in one verse. All glory to Lord Nityananda Balaram, by whose mercy I have attained shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan. All glory to the merciful Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. By his mercy, I have attained the shelter of the great personality, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and by his mercy, I have found the refuge of Sri Swarup Damodar. By the mercy of Sanatan Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of devotional service. And by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. All glory to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained Sri Radha Govinda. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. Anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, we're not losing the results of our pious activities. And that's talk about humble. Anyone who has, is not making something up or pretending or any no false humility, but the actual mood of a great soul. And that used to bewilder me and still does a lot. So I would think, well, this when I started reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita and read statements like this, I would be thinking, he's such a great soul, he's such a pure devotee, but doesn't he know that he's a great soul? I guess not, because he thinks that anyone who hears my name loses the result. Anyway, that used to be like a real dichotomy, bewilderment in my mind. How is he such a great soul, and how is he thinking he's so fallen? But that's the reality, and generally we're a little more puffed up than that. we may think, I'm doing pretty good. I chanted I'm doing my chapa was really good today. And I'm following everything exactly right. And I'm doing okay. And making a lot of advancement. And those things are all true. It's not that they're not true, but you won't find Krishnadas Kaviraj saying things like that. And anyway, there's so many things that are beyond our comprehension in Krishna consciousness. So it's something like that is all we can do is read the statements and accept them as the truth, as the reality. A pure devotee, a great soul like that actually feels fallen and lower than the worm and stool, or worse than Jagai and Madai. But he's not, or she's not. They're a great soul. But that mentality should increase in us more and more, and it does over the course of time. That okay, I'm trying to be a good devotee, but not so good yet. I'm not really that great. And I have a long way to go in Krishna consciousness. A lot of purification has to be accomplished in my sadhana, in everything. So anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore, he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. Although I am sinful and I am the most fallen, he has conferred upon me the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami. And it's the same for us. We're the devotees, ISKCON devotees, we are Rupanugas, we're Prabhupada Nugas, and of course your own spiritual master, you're a follower of your own spiritual master in disciplic succession. But all the devotees in ISKCON are Prabhupada Nugas, and we give some specific stress to Srila Rupa Goswami to the extent that we're known as Rupanugas, the followers of Sri Rupa Goswami. All the Goswamis, but he's specifically mentioned, specifically pointed out. Let's see. I am not fit to speak all these confidential words about my visiting Lord Madan Gopal and Lord Govinda. Lord Madan Gopal, the chief deity of Vrindavan, is the enjoyer of the rasa dance and is directly the son of the king of Brata. He enjoys the rasa dance with Srimati Radharani, Sri Lalita, and others. He manifests himself as the Cupid of Cupids. It's on minute, let's see. Where was that? Right, and here, so now this is a song that is, we customarily, it's one of the songs we sing for Lord Chaitanya. It's called the book in the marketplace of the holy name. It's the one that began Guru Sukya Kavorgai Surabhi Kunjete Nameha Kuleche Kodinitan. I'm not going to read through the Bengali I'm not going to sing it, but I'm going to read the English translation to the verses. I am sending news of great happy tidings. Lord Nityananda himself has opened a marketplace of the holy name in Surabhi Kunj. The news of its great results is that he is selling the pure holy name in that marketplace for the price of only one's faith. There's a ISKCON movement begun by Srila Prabhupada is part or an aspect of the marketplace of the holy name that's opened by Lord Nityananda himself. And Prabhupada came, he brought everything with him. He brought the whole Vedic culture, he brought all the Shastras, he brought everything with him. But the first and foremost, the primary, the central thing he brought was the chanting of Hare Krishna, the holy name. Everything that Prabhupada brought is centered around, based on the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. And everything with that. Prabhupada really liked it when people would refer to us as, oh, those are the Hare Krishna people, those are the Hare Krishnas. He really liked them because that's that is the holy name is everything. Everything is centered and based and on the chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is at the center of everything that we do. And the news of its great, so we're taking part in the marketplace of the holy name, and we are buyers, and we have been, and we are buyers, customers in the marketplace of the holy name. But as soon as you become a customer and take it seriously and buy the holy name, then we also become a dealer. We have our own little stall in booth in the marketplace of the holy name, and each one of us is qualified to sell the holy name also, and not just that we have absorbed it and bought it, but immediately you become qualified or an authorized dealer in the holy name as an assistant of your spiritual master and Krishna. And the news of its great results is that he is selling the pure holy name in that marketplace for the price of only one's faith. There's no other, you can't go to marketplace and say, I have $1 billion, I'll give you $1 billion for the holy name. It's not enough. You can't say, you can't say, I have mansions all around the world. I'll give you all my mansions if you give me the holy name. That's not enough. Yeah, but if you have a little bit of faith, this beginning faith, Prabhupada describes Adav Shraddha, the beginning of devotional faith. It describes that as if somebody comes and just have a little bit of curiosity. They come and they see the devotees or get a book and they have a somewhat open, a little bit submissive attitude. And I wonder what this book is about. I wonder what those devotees are doing. It seems interesting. That's Prabhupada describes that as a little bit of faith. And that faith is the only price for becoming a customer in the marketplace of the holy name. And just a little bit of faith qualifies a person for approaching devotional service in a humble, somewhat humble at least, mood in the beginning. You don't have to be the most humble person in the world. You don't have to be the most submissive person in the world. But if someone had just a little bit of humility, a little bit of submissiveness, it qualifies them for inquiring and getting some instruction from the pure devotees, and then they progress. It's a progression, Krishna takes whatever little bit we do very seriously, and he'll give us over the course of time, little by little, more and more determination in our practice and an increase in our faith. And so the faith, everyone is saying, everyone here has that faith. So to some extent, to a great extent, all the devotees here, I know everyone personally. Everyone here is a great soul. Everyone here has gotten Lord Nityananda's mercy. Everyone here is getting Prabhupada's mercy, Muktyavandya, Krishna's mercy. Everyone here is a great soul. We all have to make much more progress, but everyone here is already on an extremely elevated platform of devotional service. So, and it's only because of our faith. The faith in Guru and Krishna is the most precious thing in the world. It's the only precious thing in the world. Everything else in the material world is just a pile of garbage, and it will be get whatever we get, we do whatever we do, but it will end up, everything ends up being taken away from us. And but if we have faith in Guru and Krishna, that will never be taken away, and that will only increase more and more, over this life and our future lives as devotees, or going back to Godhead very, very soon, back to Goloka Vrindavan, which is the goal and the destiny of all of us. I'll read some more of this. Lord Nityananda, the proprietor of the market, seeing all the devotees become attracted, is selling them the holy name after bargaining with them. Oh, brother, if you want to buy the holy name, then go with me. We must go to the presence of that great soul, Nityananda. You will buy the name of Krishna, I will take my commission, and all of our desires will be fulfilled. Lord Nityananda is greatly merciful, taking only one's faith. He gives the highest ecstasy. If Nitai sees only once tears in the eyes while chanting the name Gora, then he gives all resources to that person. He gives the pure teachings of Krishna to everyone and does not care for one's birth, wealth, knowledge, and strength. Now, giving up the illusory snare of Maya, either remain in household life or in the forest as a sannyasi, for no more troubles remain. There is no more fear from the age of Kali. The merciful Nityananda gives the holy name to even Chandalas. Bhaktivinoda calls out, except for the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, there is no other shelter. And so everyone is looking for some shelter. if you're outside, say you're outside and it starts to rain and you run for some shelter, or if it starts to, sometimes it's hail, and sometimes hail can be like really big, like as big as a softball. But Sri Canada, she was from what part of India? Manipur. He told about sometimes when he was here a long time ago, he told sometimes in Manipur, they had hail that's as big as like a pineapple or something. So if you're outside and they start chunks of ice the size of pineapples start falling, you're going to run for some shelter real fast. So yeah, so the material world is always like that, especially in Kali Yuga. And not especially, yeah, especially in Kali Yuga, the material world is always like that. It's raining down the big chunks of ice in the form of so many different troubles and problems and miseries, and just raining down on us all the time. Everyone, raining down on everyone all the time, and everyone is desperately looking for some shelter, mostly in the form of the related family relationships, country relationships. Everyone is thinking, I'm a citizen of my country will protect me, or my whatever. We're all looking for shelter in so many different ways. You want to have a house because the house is shelter, protects you from the environment. So the only shelter, it can be inside a nice house, but then an airplane might fall out of the sky and crash into your house and kill you, or a truck might run in and go down the street in New Orleans and run over 50 people. And it happened a few weeks ago. It's happening all over the world. And so everyone is looking for some shelter in the material world. And ultimately, there is no shelter for the material body. Material body will be destroyed, but one way or another. But there is shelter for the soul, for the self. And that shelter is, except for the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, there is no other shelter. So we're all under the shelter of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. We should all be extremely grateful and have to all participate in the selling of the buying for ourselves, with increasing our faith in the holy name, and the selling, helping Prabhupada in this ISKCON section of the marketplace of the holy name, helping our spiritual master to sell the holy name to anyone who comes and or anyone we meet, and who shows just a little bit of faith. And yeah, so it's not everybody can be a big incredible preacher. Gopal Krishna Maharaj or Radhanath Swami or Jataka Swami, or some of the great preachers in ISKCON. Many, not just sannyasis or gurus, but many great preachers in ISKCON. But we can all do something to help take care of Prabhupada's mission. We can all take care of this temple. And that's what, and that's do that. Help. We're not just here to make advancements on our own. Of course, we are here for that, but we're here to help take care of this temple, Prabhupada's temple. and use it and so it can be effectively used as a base for preaching Krishna consciousness. All right, I guess I'll stop there. Any questions or comments? Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All very small thing.